Yeah, I've been thinking about this, like what I was gonna do when I was finally on the podcast, and all I wanted to do was be the greeter. You are now entering the won't become boring podcast. Hello, everyone.
We could,
we
are joined today by Vincent Ciarlo.
Hello, y'all.
That's pretty good.
You know, you could have.
intro.
That was pretty good. You know, we've got a sound effects guy. You know, we've got a producer. We've got a sound effects guy. You know, we can do that stuff ourselves. But it's pretty good.
Just like give me a G sharp, an A, and
Okay.
a B flat.
Oh
and
my,
like,
I got the notes.
On the fat synth.
Yep.
You are now
Bam.
entering
And you could throw a bass drop in there.
podcast, a one of a kind experience.
That's sick. Vinny, thank you for making our podcast art.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's the only thing that makes us seem official at all,
pretty much.
or legit.
Yeah,
That's crazy because
that and the laptop and the art.
we got these good mics though. So
That's true. That's true.
We're kind of we're moving up.
dude. When I was making that, I was thinking, man, this might be the only thing I've ever made that actually looks official.
I think it's just because there's a sentence under the logo,
and it's not an old English like font. It's not some unreadable text that looks like a tree.
Yeah,
it just says what exactly it means.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Yeah, we were like make the logo not a bush. Not a bush. Okay, I know you make a lot of. I know you're used to making a lot of thistle and just
and thorns.
You know, we're here in Oklahoma. I get it. That's what you've seen. That's what you know. But it's just think in the direction of not a bush.
Yeah.
Dude, that's my roots. That's where I'm from. That's where I was.
Yeah.
Where I was from, and how
that's
I'm
where
here,
you were born. Is waking a cadaver. Is those roots? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Vinny came out breeing. He didn't come out crying. He came out going. And the doctor's like, "We got a wild one here."
man, that's weird. That is weird. Weird image. It's scary.
Vincent, wait, what was the first like heavy music you listened to, or metal that you would say? What was it, like Strider, or I don't know, like some Christian rock?
You mean Striper?
Striper. When I say
You said a Lord of the Rings character, bro.
He's a Strider. Wait, is that what they said?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Yeah. Well,
He goes by Strider.
Yeah, when they
He's
go
in
to
the
the
tavern.
when they go to the prancing pony.
he's wearing yellow and black skin suit.
Yeah.
Tight skin.
But yeah, you know,
His hair.
Striper.
No, that's Striper. Oh yeah, that's Striper. You're looking for Strider. Yeah, shout out Striper.
Yeah.
The 1980s, 90s. What were they, like glam rock Christian band? Maybe not glam rock.
Dude,
Or glam metal or whatever the fuck it's called.
I don't know. The Striper was playing with
Hair
like
metal.
Rat and stuff in clubs back in the
Yeah,
day.
hair metal.
Yeah.
There we go. Hell yeah.
It was tight.
Christian hair metal.
They were friends with like all like those bands back in the
Mm-hmm.
day too. Like the vocalist talks about being friends with them. They're always Christians. It's crazy. Like even
There's
growing up
White
the same
Cross. Is that White Cross is another hair metal
I don't
Christian
know.
band.
I've never heard of White Cross.
scene. Yeah, I haven't either.
They had some really good guitar player. Like he was famous for just like
Shredding.
for shredding.
They
on
should
his
have gone
own.
on tour with Whitechapel.
Yeah.
That would have been a tour
Shoulda.
for God. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
White Cross and Whitechapel.
Yeah. But yeah, what was okay?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
what?
back to
Sorry,
the
not to divert from the question.
We're gonna dive
That's
in a
all
lot. That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, my mom always listened to like Queen and
Oh, like classic rock. Like
yeah,
type
but
of
she
stuff.
like really loved Queen, like and I don't know, like Queen and Madonna was like
Yeah.
always playing in the background at all, you know. But like after that, a youth pastor guy that used to pick me up
Oh yeah. By the way, we're doing this outside.
yeah,
It's such a
so-
beautiful day. So
Yeah.
if you hear any
Crows.
that's not post edit. That's that's live.
Pleasure to be on the first outside cast.
Oh yeah. Out. Let's call it Outcast.
Nice. We'll put that in the file.
Outcast podcast.
Continue, Vincent.
Sorry, man. I was about to flow.
Well, you got burrs?
Okay.
You got some burrs? for us?
Okay. A youth pastor used to pick me up for like a youth group at a local church that I pretty much grew up going to, and one day we were listening to "To Find the Great Line." He had that like DVD
By Under Oath?
Under Oath.
To Find the Great Line, and one day I was listening to it and I was like, "This is the first time I've ever heard somebody yell other than like Linkin Park." You know? So like, dude, yeah. I mean, Linkin Park to like straight Under Oath, and then to like We Came with Broken Teeth and like MySpace grind. I don't know, man. A weird route.
No, that's a clean route. Dude, I wanted to ask this question because I was just last night was like, you know, drinking a little whiskey with Jana, and I was
cool.
listening to some music, and I just pulled up Under Oath. They're Only Chasing Safety.
Yeah.
And for me, that was like the first heavy album I really listened to. I put it on and I was like, damn, this is like, I was lucky. Like I had no idea how.
They're only chasing safety?
How good of music that is. Like listening to it now, like
Yeah.
the riffs and the drum beats, like that was
It holds up.
clearly way above my head. But, you know, there's layers of interesting stuff to pull from Under Oath's music. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
especially the more that you play music and more that you listen to, I don't know, heavy music, but also they're also like melodic as well. So.
Well, it was that perfect blend of like emo music at the time. Like
yeah,
like they could
and they never quite cross the line of cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, depending
I
on
don't think so.
your standards.
Right, yeah. But I mean, yeah, they could fit in with bands like Taking Back Sunday. They could fit in with bands that were in that vein, but then they could also play with heavier bands. And that was
Whitechapel.
yeah, probably at some point. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
That album is great too. Both
Yeah.
albums.
Yeah, I mean that's like, yeah, that band probably defined a lot of people, especially kids like us, where like our parents, like we grew up in church. Our
Mhm.
parents took us to church, and it was like a very default rule or just like sentiment in Oklahoma
Yeah.
or in the Bible Belt, like, hey, you're a Christian kid because I'm your parents and we go to church, so you don't listen to certain types of music, right? Or like certain types of music are cut off from you, like
Mm-hmm.
you can't listen to Slayer. But then like I don't know, there was like, oh, it's Christian but it's heavy, and that was
Yeah.
like a big deal.
Yeah.
At the
That's
time,
true.
it was like I don't know, it was like a whole generation of kids who's like their parents couldn't necessarily tell them they couldn't listen to it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But then it introduced you to Waking the Cadaver in the end, so.
Dude,
and all of those evil bands that we're now into.
that's
But
sorry.
is
There's something big and something flying. And I was
I don't
wondering
think
if
I don't
I
think
was
it's a
wondering
wasp.
if,
We're trying to figure out if it's a hornet that we
Yeah.
that Austin scared off earlier, but
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
he misted it to death.
dude, The Fly is a brutal ass movie. Underrated,
Yeah.
brutal movie.
It's a really good movie.
Yeah.
You know? And the analogy, the metaphor behind it is just like it's poignant.
Yeah.
That's all. So
Good
anyway,
stuff.
back to evil music
Yeah.
and evil aesthetics and things.
I was just gonna say that I had a similar experience to like growing up listening to Christian music, but my mom was never like super. Like, I don't feel like my mom was really ever religious. Like when it comes to like following the trends of church, she mostly just kind of went to church. And
She didn't really force any of those things on you.
No, and I went to like youth group all by because I wanted to, and she never.
Oh, yeah.
She like told me what it was and asked me if I wanted to go one day, and then I just went, and I always enjoyed it. So like, I just went. And I mean like growing up listening to heavy music though, is my mom didn't really like. Yeah, I was super into hip hop and like rap stuff before I was into like other than a couple of rock bands
Yeah.
like that my mom listened to. I wasn't really into that, but yeah, my mom always like let me do what I want, and would try to be open minded to what I was listening to too. So I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, you and me were kind of talking earlier about just like being in school or whatever, like how you see potential like in all your friends and all your classmates and stuff in high school, but just the very fact that you're in high school and you're in this place where you're kind of just being forced in the structure and no one's telling you to like be creative or do things that you're interested in.
Yeah,
And it's like it's hard to come out of that, I don't know, wanting to go out in the world and just like do art or explore aesthetics or whatever.
yeah. You have to be like shown that, like handed a tool. Someone has to
Mhm.
like hand you a tool, whether that's just like being told that you have the possibility or the ability to do something, or whether that's like here's a pencil, like
Or an
draw.
instrument.
Yeah, you have to. It's not like everyone's fault that they didn't have the the access to certain things in this
Mhm.
world.
Yeah.
And the right person has to be handed kind of the right thing, or like shown the right thing, or even shown the right way
Mhm.
for them to get there, which is kind of a bummer because some of us are more privileged than others in that way.
Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel lucky to have been able to, yeah, just like have instruments, have the opportunity to be creative, and like, my mom was supportive of me, or at least it wasn't suppressive or anything like that.
Mhm.
And like that's what I mean. Obviously, we want to see young people doing art and being like unique and innovative in whatever ways they see as interesting.
Yeah,
Like, and yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I wonder, I hope that through the pandemic, even though I know it's been debilitating for a lot of young people, I hope that maybe there's been a break of the structure, or just maybe some free time or some freedom where some young people have really gotten to dig into some art for themselves,
Mhm.
or like,
Yeah.
yeah. Is it
I don't know,
more
something they find
Making
interesting.
music, making zines, art, whatever.
Yeah.
starting a YouTube channel or something, like
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
to, like it's
Yeah.
still like a self brand, or like what am I good at? You don't have the distractions of stupid high school,
Yeah.
or like yeah, feeling suffocated by awkwardness, or
Mm-hmm.
just being stuck in school where it's hard.
Mhm. So I mean,
Family did that.
what?
So, like, do you feel like your family like was oppressive to you being yourself, or were they encouraging?
Yeah,
Or
I mean a little bit out of just their own, I think, ignorance,
yeah,
but like
Like
not.
well intentioned.
Yeah, like well intentioned, but just not. Hadn't been out in the world enough to really kind of like grasp all the
yeah,
possibilities, or like all the, I don't know, just small town mindset family basically.
yeah,
Yeah, it's something I've been like recently kind of breaking out of, a type of like mentality that can be instilled in you when you're a kid,
yeah,
of just like, this is just how things are and they're never going to change type of mentality, and that's not true at all.
yeah.
Like,
No.
and it was never, that was never the like the goal of the household I grew up in, but it's just, that's kind of what ends up happening, with that mindset of not being open-minded and not I don't know.
Yeah, just not accepting like I don't know, the peaks and the valleys that any kid is naturally going to go through.
Yeah.
Like growing up and discovering what they're into.
Mhm.
And it's like the more that you try and control it, even though it's well intentioned, it's like it can backfire. And that's very similar to like my experience. Like it
Mhm.
was never ill intentioned, but it's just like the culture, the parenting techniques and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But
Kids
Dude.
are funny, man. Like, it's almost like if you keep telling them not to do something, they're gonna. I mean, at least I can only speak for myself. I would just lean way more into it. I would like grip my feet into the ground. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep doing this like 100%.
It's
And like,
because you're disagreeable. That's like the disagreeable personality trait.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
the
I
same
mean,
way.
yeah, it's so yeah. I mean, growing up, it was kind of hell because there was always arguments, you know. But what were you gonna say, Vincent?
Well, I was just gonna say I don't want to stop you from that. I was just thinking like it's interesting though that if you guys both feel that way, like maybe didn't have quite maybe given the tools that you feel like you need or something in that way, but more so like both y'all turned out to be creative and people that are doing those things still, like especially Josh, because when I first met Josh, like we just both like I don't know, we like I feel like we just did everything together. We were both just down, like
Yeah.
we like to skate a little bit, like we like music,
Mhm.
we play music and we like a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of like did whatever. And I'm like, you were inspiring to me because I was like, you can do everything. Like, yeah, you weren't like a master at necessarily anything or whatever a
Yeah.
master means, but I was like, you just like do all this, so you just try. And I was like, well, shit, like I don't know, like that. It made me like try to do more with like music at least. Oh God.
Oh shit, dude! This it's in the same exact spot.
Okay.
No, that was a really good point. And now there's a hornet right back, and I'm leaving this running. I'm not gonna edit this
Okay,
out.
hold
What are
on.
we doing? Okay,
What?
how are we getting rid of this?
No, hold on, whoa,
Whoa! Before you just whoa!
Hold on, what if he?
Hang on.
What?
No, we're
what if
not.
he-
We're
what
not
if
gonna
he-
edit this out at all.
What if he stays there? What if he? What?
Okay, no, that's a fly. Oh, is it a fly? No, yeah, that's a fly.
What? If,
No, bro, don't spray it yet. Don't spray it yet, bro.
He's good, man.
Hey,
He's
man,
good.
hey.
I think he's good. Man. Hold on, just wait. If he runs up,
Okay.
you can drop him with the mist.
You need to
That's
close
it.
that window and you need to spray it with the hose. Like with your thumb. Bro. Okay, he's got a chair and a rake and he's using the backside of the rake to squish the hornet
He's
into the
misting him
wall.
to death.
But he's misting it with water. It's not doing anything, Gus. No, it's not. You're pissing it off.
He's trying to distract him.
Oh God. Oh, he missed. Oh, shit. Oh God. Bro, he is now chasing it with the rake. Oh, he missed it with the rake. Okay, he's running away with the rake now. Oh man.
He's in the ground.
I can't. Okay, so. Did you get him at all? This might be a reoccurring problem. Well, this has been an exciting outcast so far. Enemy number 1 dealt with. Neutralized by the Gustard himself.
Yeah, so you just became pretty much good at everything, and it was really inspiring to me. And yeah, I'm just saying. So, despite not being given the tools, sometimes, or even feeling at what you have, or didn't get what you need, like sometimes, you know. Or, I mean, I think I've heard similar stories to other people that I'm close with as well, that they still become like,
Yeah.
but they push past that.
Yeah.
Feeling like not having what you need, or maybe even the tools.
Yeah.
But you keep trying. I don't know.
Yeah. It can be a curse though, like being able to just try a bunch of different shit. People maybe expect you to keep doing it, but you're kind of just like, I tried it. I could do it, kind of. I'm going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
And so it's always like a tough game to like, I don't know, play with that concept. Doing like a bunch of stuff at once. Being interested in so many things and yeah.
Like overly ambitious. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, you can't like quite find. I mean, I feel like that right now too sometimes actually, but like I think that also might be a personality trait too.
True.
Kind of.
The most important thing to remember is no matter what anyone says, if you're out there and you're in the same boat, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Just seriously keep, no matter how many times people are like, I don't know, give you some kind of shit for, I don't know, just trying new stuff out. You never know what you're going to like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, I mean, I think for me it really came down, like things weren't necessarily ideal in my environment, but it just came down to desire. And like I don't even feel like credit. I don't feel any credit whatsoever. It's just like I had a lot of desire to do art or to like participate really in music.
Yeah.
That's what it was when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no way to do it. And I just, if you think about something all the time, if you want it, then you just, every opportunity that comes up, you'll try and get the most out of it. And for me, it was just like, there was local shows and I met one person, then met another person. And it was just like, I don't know. It just all happened because it was what I wanted more than anything else. But it's also like, that's the nature of desire, and especially strong desires is it's like everything else besides it can get destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was like like everything was school. Like I didn't give it a flying shit in,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that in hindsight. Like I think for someone like that, like if they're just not going to do school, like there was no way I was going to do school or I was going to learn anything or do it honestly or do it right.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't. And so if there's someone like that, it's just like, let them do their thing. If they want to get smart later on, get educated, they'll do it. But it's like, I don't know. Some people, if you just like try and force them in the system, it'll just like demoralize them.
Yeah.
And
They'll start
crack them.
working backwards, almost. Some people.
Yeah, or they'll become deranged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, Vinny, like that sentiment that you shared about Josh, like I kind of felt that about you, and I felt that about you as well, Josh, before, or like when we were younger and we were first hanging out. That just it was just exciting, and it was cool to see people that were like not the best, they weren't amazing, they weren't talents. You know, I had met many talents, many people that just seemed like they were just good at something, and like they were them and I was me and I would never be them, like that type of deal. But it was more like you were two of my peers that were just trying projects, like willing to try stuff, willing to make something that, you know, a little rough around the edges, but just wanted to produce something yourselves. And it wasn't about anything except for, yourself, just making something for yourself. And that was attractive to me because, I don't know, like it just seems, it seems like there's very, very few people that are just always working on something and making new iterations of it or moving on to something new, just like exploring arts, exploring the crafts, or something like that. And I don't know, it's just compelling when you meet people like that. You're like, wow, you're really just, you're following what you're into, and that's so cool and it's so admirable. I don't know.
The phrase, "Oh, you really out here doing it," basically.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it's true, and it's like, and it's like sometimes I have that feeling of like, for myself, it's like when I'm doing something that maybe years ago I wouldn't believe I would be able to do it, or that I am doing it. And it's like, no one's around, no one's here, I'm up early in the morning, and I'm doing this thing. It's like, I'm really this type of person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, like, that's cool.
I wanted the same thing. Right.
That's what running has showed me. I mean, I used to run all the time in sports, but now after not doing it forever because I was lazy and I was choosing not to do it, and then you run enough to where it kind of you get used to it, and the breathing heavy goes away, and you kind of get a little more in shape. You're kind of like, oh, I am this person. Like you kind of remember.
You remember you can change yourself.
Yeah, you're like,
valuable.
oh. See, but that is something that I do give my strict parents credit for. Is I think back so many times when I didn't want to do anything, and I would have a literal voice in my head that was right next to me saying, life is full of things you never want to do, and you're going to have to just do them. And those were like valuable lessons that I, at the time, was like, this is really kind of fucking my head up. But now when I'm older, I'm kind of like, oh, yeah, life really doesn't stop, like, at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, and it's good. Like, you want to have, like, I wish I had more of that. I didn't have enough, like, I didn't have any strong, like, father figure in my life, or anyone that told me, like I needed to take responsibility, or like really what it meant to take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Or that like it starts with yourself, or it starts with respecting yourself, or just taking responsibility for what you want, or just your basic necessities. Like, and so it took me so long to figure that out and just get to a basic functioning adult status
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. And like now sometimes I think, which this is a bad thought, like it's not valid, but just feels like, oh, I wish I would have had someone that was harder on me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
wish I would have gotten more disciplined, better habits. That's a loser's mindset. Like, not that I think that. Like, you can always develop that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's valuable to
It's a tool.
learn that lesson when you're a kid. Yeah,
It is a tool. I mean, yeah.
Dude,
Is there? Oh, I don't mean to
Sorry.
cut you off. I was just gonna ask, do you have any thoughts on that thought, especially involving your art? Because that's something that we both wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Because I mean, we both obviously know we all three play in a band together, so we know you're a phenomenal drummer. But
I play in the tooth.
Oh wait,
Wait.
you
Hold on.
hold on.
But dude, go ahead.
What were you gonna say before I cut you off?
Well, I was just gonna answer that question. I have a lot to say. I have enough to say to tie the last three topics together.
Cool.
My dad always, like, I literally keep.
Oh
thinking
yeah,
and
of
hearing
course,
my dad.
Remo.
Extremo, Screamo, whatever you want to call
Mr.
him.
Remo, Screamo, Charlo.
That he slumbers and dwells away in the Ciarlo Inn. Some have called it.
We have many been a patron at the Ciarlo Inn
Yeah, many
when
have-
there was vacancy and also no vacancy. We were still there.
was there for a minute. No, bro. Okay, yeah. So, yeah. My dad used to say, like, I feel like my dad isn't a huge thinker, but like he is like a super hard worker and a super like giving guy. Despite being not a big thinker or like maybe necessarily like, I don't know. Doesn't have a way with words, I'll say that. But he did have a way with words by simply saying to me like over and over that like if you want something in the world, you just go get it. You don't wait for someone to give it to you. And also no one owes you anything.
Yeah, that's a
And
good.
just those like I keep thinking about those like now though. And I'm like they mean something different every 5 years or something, you know what I mean?
It was a fly, false alarm. I just flinched really bad.
God.
No one else would admit that without video, and I just did. Carry on.
Dude, let me know if he rolls up.
I'm not gonna let you know because he'll run away. No, I'm kidding.
No, but those
Yeah.
those two, I mean, those two lessons specifically, I think are really. I mean, they're kind of cliche.
That's what I'm
almost.
saying,
They're
yeah.
kind of trite, but it's like if they're
you need to
trite
hear
if
it.
you say them, but if they're really drilled like deep into your being, if you truly, truly believe and understand that no one owes you anything, then you see the world in a different way than a lot of people
Yeah,
do.
that's kind of what I'm saying. I think without even realizing though that I keep applying that statement to new ways, and it's like left as an imprint, you know. And I think what I was gonna say is to tie this back into like art, and to tie this back into like being given the tools of like within our own individual like lives, like playing with you guys, like the album cover for the first record that we did like so many years ago at this point, like that was one of the first like collages I ever tried to do in that way. Like I was like, I think it was like 19 or 18.
This was in 2013.
Yeah, it was the year
For
after high
Shield.
school. So like,
Yeah.
like I'm working at the
Oh, you were saying you were 18 or 19.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
When that was just like doing that art though was like you guys letting me do that and being into the idea of like making our own artwork rather than outsourcing to everyone. Like that spiraled me into like pretty much everything I do now because I did it and I was like I kind of like this and like it feels really good that I made that, like I made our band's music artwork because I already loved, like, that's what I've been paying attention to, and I've always drawn or, like, yeah, pretty much drew my whole life. Like, my first memories is me drawing in a hallway and drawing Pokemon when my mom was watching South Park, and they were in hell, and I asked my mom what was going on, and she's like, "Please just go draw." And I was like, I just remember that, like, and I went back and I was like drawing Squirtle or something, but like, anyway, I'm just saying all that to say, like, you guys kind of encouraged me in a different way, like, from there, because I was like, wait, I can do this, and then, like, next thing you know, like, we just kept making the artwork. Chris showed me Photoshop, like, Chris is the
funny.
first person to show me, like, how to use tools on Photoshop, and that
Before
is
that,
like,
you were using literally like scissors and glue.
yeah, which wish I did that more, and I still do it, but what I now, like, having Photoshop though has allowed me to do, like, make the
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, you can
cover for
make
you.
like real. You can marry the
marry two.
style and what you learned in physically making the art
Yeah,
to the digital realm.
yeah, and I mean, it's kind of, once again, like, I still apply it to, like, watching kind of what you've done, because you've always just did a little bit of, you just did it, tried everything, and, like, I just kept trying everything artistically, like when it comes to making shirts, or, like, can I do Photoshop? Can I use it? Then I learned. I mean, so many people actually just kept teaching me different mediums, I guess, along the way. Chris
Yeah.
taught me guitar. Chris and Sean and Josh are the people that, like, gave me the first tools of how to play a guitar. And now, like, I started a whole, like, you know, kind of solo project of just experimental stuff with all of those things, and tying in, like, the ability to be like, I can almost, like, do every part of this myself, not in, like, a conceited way, but it's like I can, like,
Yeah.
I
you
did
know
every,
that you can.
yeah, like, and I just wanted to try, and it's pretty cool, like, to see that. And even recently, like, I mean, Josh is recording that second release of the solo project.
Yeah,
that
like
I'm
you
doing.
recorded the first one yourself.
Yeah, I did the first one myself. It was absolutely miserable.
Which, what, not to interject, but what is that called and where can people find it?
It's called You, and it's at
YEW.
YEW, and it's 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 a Latin phrase, but it's called Sub Sol Vanitas, and it's at on Bandcamp, and it just means, it was titled that for Vanity Under the Sun, because that was, like, the concept I was trying to write about in the first one. Like, it comes from the Old Testament, and, like, I don't know what it is. It's the Old Testament at the very beginning, but
What, like a yew tree? Is that
oh,
what you're
sorry,
talking about?
no, the sub sol vanitas, that, like, phrase
Oh.
is just something I was reading in the Bible, and he's like he keeps saying over and over again, like, all is vain, all is vanity under the sun, and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
saying, like, yeah, God, you've given us this and that and this and that and this and that, but everything, you know, it's like your life is like a vapor, and it disappears, blows away with, like,
Yeah. That's
smoke in the wind, like that concept is what I was thinking about when writing that, and that's kind of like questioning, what does what does that phrase even mean to me anymore? Man,
So it's kind
sorry,
of
I'm
just
not
like,
trying to
what
go
is
so
the point?
fast.
No,
But-
okay.
That's
You're going
crazy.
deep there because you're going into, like, I mean, just another thing, which is that, like, the art and what you're expressing through, like, the aesthetics, like, for you is always tied directly to an idea, or, like, something from history, or something from the Bible, or just a grim idea, and that's where it starts. And lots of artists do that, but I don't think as many visual artists do that, and do it especially with such specificity as you. And so I think that's interesting. But, like, that one, all is vain, all is vanity under the sun. That's just like, what's the point of life? Like, why are we here? Like, everything's the same, it repeats.
Yeah,
We just fade away.
I'm wondering if, you know, the Bible is, if that's that's the chosen books that stayed together this whole time, and for whatever reason, I'm like, why is that book in there? I feel like it's pretty like has nothing but the like whole the whole book just has like nothing but like a God, you don't make sense, or like this doesn't make sense. Why did you do that? Like it doesn't promote God in any way. It's kind of seems against God or something. But I just always thought that was super interesting. I'm like, I don't know what that means, and you can come up with a million reasons as to why it's there, why it's not, and what's not there. But I don't know. I just thought that was interesting, and I'm just trying to come full circle and say that like you guys also encouraged that in me and let me do that. And as we've stayed a band for so long, like we've all, I think, encouraged each other in those paths and have learned more about like, I don't know, we kind of just grew up in this band and all encouraged one another, and for the better, I think. And yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for that, and I've been recently thinking about like how grateful I am for that, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Does anyone? Like, we have
No,
an
that's
idea.
cool. And like, how do you do it alone? Like, that's what you're saying is like without having like some kind of people around you that are maybe doing something similar, or just encouraging you to do the risky thing or the creative thing or the thing that has no path.
Yeah.
Or like whatever, like who else in your life is going to encourage you to do those, like, I don't know, just like soul things, like those things that are deeply meaningful to you. And that's, I mean, I resonate with that, and I feel the same. And like, I mean, I think just the spirit of this podcast and the whole name is resonant with that, because it's like I want to keep that ethos. Like I want to keep on doing the risky things, the interesting things, the meaningful things for myself, and like, but also, you know, we're becoming adults, or we are adults or whatever. We're supposed to be figuring out lots of things in life and taking care of adult shit. And it's like, how do you exist in the system, you know, and still have like the freedom to do that, to like pursue those things that have no ends, like that are an infinite game, like art.
Yeah, I think I know less than I ever did maybe right now. Like,
I resonate with that for real.
Yeah, that's a real ass statement.
But I also know more about what matters most to me.
Yeah.
Isn't that just what happens, I guess, when as you live and on your deathbed, you remember like what, like relationships and music, and then like I don't know, there's like a few things
Just
that
like, what are you
everyone
really
just-
going to think about? Like, what's really...
like there's things that people always just like they think about what matters most, like, you know? If you're, I don't know, a normal death.
Like when they have those interviews with like 100-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what does every 100-year-old regret?
Yeah.
But, yeah, those are kind of clickbaity, but
I know what they
watched
don't
it.
regret: drinking Dr. Pepper every day. Because apparently every
one
109-year-old old woman drinks Dr. Pepper every single fucking day.
Dude, Warren Buffett drinks a Coke every day, and he gets McDonald's every day.
What if like McDonald's is just pumping their food just full of like human steroid, like it like makes people these like
What, you mean
weird
sugar?
working machines that like live forever, but they like
Oh, okay.
slowly die.
Well, we saw it happen on Super Size Me though.
Yeah,
It
that's true.
Maybe they weren't doing it then.
That's
but-
true.
'cause
Once
that
it
dude
came
lived
out, they
that
were like, "Oh,
shit.
gotta pump them full of vitamins now." What if, McDonald's. Hey, McDonald's, just pump your burgers full of vitamins. How fucking hard is it?
Vitaburger.
Come on, guys.
Right there, free.
Put some vitamin C in that Dr. Pepper.
That's a free
Shit.
idea. You know, all these influencers keep on telling me to add value. Right there, McDonald's, Vitaburger, sponsor us.
You better not
Burger.
like let everyone hear that idea. You know what I mean? You might want to.
Nah, it's
Keep
okay,
it on the
dude. I'm an
DL.
idea factory. I come up with $1 million ideas all the time. Just can't execute on them.
Yeah. You did You did miss the wasp.
Yeah.
That's all that my existence is I have all the ideas. I have zero execution.
just the ideas guy.
Yeah.
See, that's actually a cringe thing that I think people say. Maybe not that specifically, but a sentiment that people have that's like, oh, like, I'm a genius, but no one knows it because I can't prove it.
Isn't that what defines a fedora? Because I think that's been what I'm looking for my entire life.
While everyone was out dating and having fun, I was studying the blade.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude, hold on a second, man. That you just described one of my friends, man. Not even lying to you, dude. Like, what the guy, dude.
What, they would always tell
Wade.
you in high school that he's a genius and he wore a fedora, but he
No.
never did anything?
No,
Because I knew that kid. Okay.
No, well, no. This man is a little more interesting. Now, shout out Chapels, aka Wade Combs, if you're out there listening. I'm shouting you out right now. Love you and miss you. He's the one that told me that in the third grade the sixth grade that he was half demon, and like with a straight face, and I was like waiting for him to make a joke, and he didn't, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And he was drawing Inuyasha, and I was like,
Hell yeah.
I was like, dude, you're really good at drawing, and so we both just like talked to each other and drew
Demon
from there.
time, baby.
Yeah.
Did you ever ask him about the fact that he claimed to be a half demon? Did you ever
No.
talk about that? He
No.
just told you that in the intro,
Yeah,
and you're like, "Whoa, you're good at drawing. I'm gonna."
yeah, seriously, dude. Like it was weird.
Wow.
You'd be surprised. That's the first person out of two people that have told Vincent that they're a demon. Because Vincent and I we were all in Colorado Springs playing a festival one time, and Vincent and I were walking to like a McDonald's, and some homeless guy walked up to us, and he was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Tim. I'm a demon." And then he was
I
like,
don't remember.
and then he had a friend behind him, and he was like, "This is my friend Chicago." Chicago didn't talk at all. Like, and we
Yeah,
were just.
Chicago's
Dude,
the
I
one you
forgot
don't-
about that. We were both like,
He had icy, like the most like husky icy blue eyes, like husky icy
Whoa.
blue,
whoa,
like
dude,
really weird.
that his eyes looked,
They were weird.
You remember?
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
Chicago's the one you
Oh.
don't want to fuck with.
Yeah, no, I would not want to fuck with Chicago.
That's so fun.
We were in Colorado Springs, and he's naming his friend Chicago. Hell no, man.
Yeah, okay, wait.
Maybe
So
he's from Chicago.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Probably literally just got off of the Greyhound from Chicago and met Tim the Demon and was like, didn't say anything. So then Tim the Demon was like, "Oh, you just came from Chicago. You're my friend, Chicago."
So, Vincent, I love that you befriended the kid in your school most likely to be a serial killer because he was good at drawing.
No, dude.
And I think I think that really, sorry, no offense to Wade, no offense. What's his name?
Chapels.
Chapels.
Yeah, he's a really
Shit, I was thinking Shipples.
he's a
Ship? Like a
Anyway,
fucking boat?
anyway, no offense, no
he
no
is
offense
on the
at all.
heavier
I'm just
side,
making
but you
jokes.
don't
I'm
have
just
to
making.
talk about it like that, man.
No, I'm just making jokes over here. But I think
he's a human, like a human being.
yeah, and we love
Sorry,
him.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I think it's just funny that like you befriended that kid just because of his drawing skills, and
well,
you,
he was the only person interesting to talk to in the class.
Dude,
Why would
yeah,
I
I
talk
mean,
to
those are
someone else
always.
who's like,
Damn,
"Hey, I'm
that's-
Jan."
that's
or,
deep.
Why would you
"Hi."
want to talk to someone who's cool? You know? I'm
Yeah,
kind
or-
of getting tired of the cool people, you know? You gotta.
cool.
Yeah, don't talk to the cool people. They got nothing to say. Wade is half fucking demon.
That's what I'm saying. You know what else he is? He also loved The Fall of Troy when I showed him that. And he
Mm.
only listened to 3-6 Mafia. He also, what I'm trying to tie this into, is that one time the first time I went to his house, he lived with his grandma, and he lived like down in the neighborhood, like just across the street, across 23rd, like 23rd and MacArthur, just in that neighborhood. And I went over to his grandma's house. His grandma's smoking inside. She's like, "Well, hell, come in." You know, like just like an old, cool, smoky grandma that doesn't give a
Mhm.
shit what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wade is in his room in a dimly lit, like extension of the house with wooden walls, like laminate, like floor laminate walls. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Just
yeah.
like really shitty put together. He's practicing throwing his fucking knife into the wall. He also has katanas. He also has shurikens, like fucking. when he showers,
Wait, so
he's throwing them into the wall, and he is good at it.
so he
Because
told you
he's
he's
a-
half demon, but
'cause
he
he's
didn't
half
tell you
human.
the other half was ninja.
Yeah, yeah.
I think every ninja is half demon and not every demon is half ninja. I think that's what it is.
There's just like one of those kids in every high school. Isn't there just one of those kids in every high school? It's just like, because anime exists, one out of every 500 high school kids
I would
will
argue
buy
it's more now.
katanas.
I would argue it's more now. Back then, yes, when we were
it's
younger, but
rising.
now it's like it's way more popular now.
Yeah.
Do people not know that anime simply isn't real?
No, that's the
Okay.
problem with our whole society.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Is that
I'm just
half
kidding.
of them are like,
I love all my anime freaks.
Dude, I'm kind of
No,
one
no.
too. Like, he kind of influenced me a lot.
No,
I've been
I mean,
watching- I've
I
actually
used to
been
watch
watching
anime,
Neon
okay?
Genesis actually for like the 4th time all
Yeah.
the way through. I've watched Cowboy Bebop like 7 times. That's not a lot even compared to other people, but no, I've been watching a lot of it recently.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, I watched Akira for like the 50th time.
Dude, Akira is sick. I love the sci-fi
Yeah,
anime. Like
They do
they got that.
they do it the
Right.
best. Well, and they've been doing it the best since like the fucking 80s, since Akira era.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just like that whole aesthetic, like, it's not even that it's the fact that it was made in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the futuristic aesthetic better somehow. Like
Oh,
the fact that
yeah.
it's both aged but also a prediction of the future. I don't know, something about that is just nothing else quite has that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Benny,
That's
you're
epic.
you're a big fan of Dragon Ball, right? Or like, which anime was your favorite growing up?
Just like the basic ones, like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto,
Mm-hmm.
and like, I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh. Everyone watched Yu-Gi-Oh after school or something. Or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
something.
Duel
Yeah.
Masters.
I mean, yeah, I was just telling Gus earlier how I would draw people's Yu-Gi-Oh cards for like $5 in like
Nice.
3rd grade. You know, like
Hustling.
I was straight hustling. You know?
Straight
Maybe I was
hustling.
actually born.
you were born to hustle.
Maybe I was like, yeah, like, man, that's weird. I never thought about that, but yeah, they're like, hey, you draw me like Cypher Sky Dragon, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna draw you Cypher Sky Dragon. That
Yeah,
shit
bro.
is sick. One
Dark
time-
Magician.
dude.
How many Dark
Yeah,
Magicians?
how
you
many
draw?
Dark Magicians you
How many
draw,
Dark
bro?
Magician girls did you draw?
Only one girl.
Okay.
Felt weird about it. I did draw like 10 Dark Magicians, though. And you know that purple one, but then
What about-
Chaos Magician?
Did you ever draw Dark Hole? Probably not. That was just like a spell card. Like
Wow.
it was just like a crazy space.
Dark
Those ones are hard.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't that good. I was just like drawing borders and coloring it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they're actually kind of like, I look back on them and I'm like, these are about as good as I would do now. Maybe. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of weird, but I'm like, I don't
You
necessarily.
haven't gotten better. You just have gotten like better at picking your spots.
Yeah.
Or like better, I don't know, taste.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't like a super good. I don't feel super good, but like it's kind of something that I've always done though. Always. Like, kindergarten, my mom like tells everyone that I wrote a book, and I'm like, Mom, I was in kindergarten. Like my teacher helped me pick what words to put on paper. I didn't write a book, like, but I did draw the space dude in space, and then like cut out what is it, colored paper?
Cardboard paper?
Yeah, like different
Construction
colors.
paper.
Construction paper.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, made like this earth and like stuff, and I drew about this guy in space.
So the
He's
first collage.
like, damn.
There you
dude,
go.
Yeah, actually.
It is kind of crazy
That's
to
weird.
think about that concept that maybe people don't get better at what they're doing. They just get more comfortable, and that's why you got to practice, because you got to
They
get
just get more
comfortable.
nuanced, more like
Yeah.
better like picking their spots. Picking,
Yeah. The skill is already like in you somehow. Like it's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
got
mean,
better
there's
at
clearly
drawing.
there's
Well,
clearly
yeah,
like
yeah,
execution.
yeah.
There's clearly an execution aspect, but and like a technique and knowing basic techniques. But then
Mhm.
it's just like besides that, like then the better drawing is just the person who has a better, you know, can choose better backgrounds, like has better, just a better eye.
Yeah.
Like there's just it's ineffable. It's like stuff that you can't describe. It's so subtle, so particular and specific, and like I love here, like me and you talked recently about like the different eras of art, like the different aesthetic styles like across history, and like how they still exist today, and how like when you learn art, you kind of study them, and like I don't know, it's just so interesting because it's just this accumulation of these subtle ideas about imagery and aesthetics.
Yeah, there's so much to know about an individual's intentions,
Mhm.
especially, well, not everyone has that necessarily, but you know, like people are so interesting in like learning about why people do what they do can just be such a experience.
It can add way more to whatever is created, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why like, I feel like people make things. Most of the time they make them with a reason. Like even if that reason is just, I wanted to make something.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
there's always I don't know. People's intentions are cool.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite
Shit.
era of art? I know that might be a loaded question, but have
I
you
feel
ever?
I feel like I could guess.
Well,
Gothic.
yeah. I mean, just
The Gothic era is very different to goth now, though. I mean, it instilled it, but like,
Gothic isn't like. Well, I think I don't know. I don't think I know enough to actually define that. But I mean, like, it means a lot of things
Mhm.
for sure.
yeah, I guess
Yeah.
the term is broad, but I mean, it would fit. I mean, yeah, because Gothic, but
Well,
I don't know if you've ever thought if there's or studied a certain era or grew up with one that like stuck out to you the most, that has stuck with you.
I mean, like one of the most inspiring things I think when thinking about being younger, at least, was like Tim Burton, and like I was super scared of Nightmare Before Christmas, but it was the only one my mom. I don't know why she let me watch that one, but
Mhm.
I was like terrified as a kid. I was scared of like everything. I didn't want to be left in a room alone, and it wasn't because
Mhm.
I was scared of monsters. It's kind of weird. I don't really know what it is actually, but it was just like I was just scared as a kid.
Mhm.
But for some reason, that movie scared the shit out of me. But like, also, I was so intrigued and thought
Mhm.
it was like the coolest thing I ever seen because I was like, wait, somebody made this like with clay,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like I was trying to like imagine that. I'm like, what? How is it on the TV? Like, I don't know. That was super inspiring. I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't know. My mom's boyfriend, before she met my dad, actually, I would ask him when I was like a toddler to draw me pictures, and I was like, hey, I like this Corvette. Can you draw me the Corvette? And he would draw me a Corvette. Like, I don't know. He just was really good at drawing. He also had a drum set in his house, and I would hit the snare drum, and it would hurt my ears, and I would like run, and I'm like, Mom, I don't like the sound. And she's like, it's just a drum,
Mhm.
and I would hit it, but he had it like cranked all the way, so it was just like, crack, and it was steel. Like it was just
like a piccolo snare.
dude, it was like that, but it was like just so insanely loud. But I was also drawn to it. That's another thing that I don't like. It's kind of weird, like because later on, like I think on 12 or 11, like I asked my mom to get me a drum set because my
Mhm.
friend was playing drums, and I wanted to play his more, but she's like, I'll get you one. But anyway, like thinking about being a little kid, my grandpa and my mom's boyfriend at the time used to draw pictures for me, and that was like I would watch them draw it, and so I still have a lot of those images too, and I remember them. It's really weird, like really interesting, I guess. Like those are like the first things to inspire me, I guess. And I'm like, well, they can do it, and I think that's why I started doing it. I don't really remember
Mhm.
at all,
Yeah.
but
No, it's crazy to think about like the little tiny things that's like, did that really have an effect on like what I was interested in? Just like hitting that drum when you're a little kid.
yeah,
And like you're scared by it, but you're drawn to it at the same time, and there's like I don't know. I think humans are like that.
Yeah, pay attention to what your friends and family hate because they probably like it on some level.
Yeah,
you
that
There's
have
some
to,
truth
you have
to
to
that.
Kinda, there's a little bit. There's some kind of
yeah,
Most
kind of like
things.
how there's a little bit of truth in every joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like same type
Dude,
of thing.
I would say one more thing I remember about that. It's really another interesting thing is that my favorite color is probably red. I don't necessarily wear red, but it's like my favorite color. And his bed was like those 90s like red silky, like I don't know, look like curtains
Yeah.
in the Roman Empire or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Just like that's what his bed looked like, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I would always I would lay on that and I would watch Spider-Man. And
Also read.
also read it. And then was like he would tape like like Birdman,
Mhm.
Cartoon Network. What is it? Space Ghost.
Oh
Coast to
yeah, yeah,
Coast.
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I don't know, dude. Yeah, Scooby Doo.
yeah.
Yeah, that might be why I am the person I am right now. Like those four.
Just
things.
positive association with a few different things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think I am the way I am because of Toy Story, and I don't know what that means.
Toy Story.
That's probably like a good percentage of the Earth in the
I was gonna-
U.S. Like,
I was gonna say that's like such a basic thing to say.
yeah,
Like I am who I am because of Disney, Disney Incorporated. But no,
Kinda,
I mean-
that could be deep. Though.
But no, like it's a movie.
oh, it doesn't
It's
mean
art.
anything except for that it's true. So
Yeah, sorry, I just want to throw shade on
you
you.
relate with Sid wearing the Zero shirt.
yeah, now.
Dude,
Sid.
dang, that guy's bad. Man. That guy is bad news. Put a baby head on some spider legs.
Yeah, man. It at least
Dude, that
at
movie
least to
scared
say
me.
Sid just
That
needed I think Sid needed a hug most of all.
Yeah.
Dude, we could go way too far into what Sid needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Let's not
what's
even
that? Okay.
start. You know, they showed Andy in college. Did Sid go to college?
No, Sid was the garbage man.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
In one of the movies, he's a garbage man.
Damn. So that's what happens? You grow up in a,
Yeah,
rough
you
household,
get paid about 23
have a rough
an hour.
childhood,
Yeah, it sucks.
and you end
get
up as a
paid.
garbage man, and lucky Andy with the perfect family just gets to
Never have a
go to
job with
college.
his
Yeah,
degree.
never has a fucking problem.
It is kind of funny
He's
if
living
Toy Story
toys.
was real. Sid would be better off than Andy.
Gets to go to space shuttle all the time or whatever, space force, whatever.
Shuttle pizza. Or,
Shuttle pizza,
oh,
shuttle
dude, what was
slice,
it?
man.
Pizza
That's-
Planet, man.
Pizza Planet. God.
Pizza Planet, bro. How
I
that
was like-
good? Okay, well, there's something we kind of touched on this earlier. I think just like about being, I don't know if I want to say being someone who's a learner or good at learning, or just like a student, but like going back to what's his name, Chapels.
Oh, yeah.
To then like many other people, like you talked about how Chris and Sean taught you how to play guitar.
Josh,
Like
too.
I just feel like you've been someone that's kind of like embodied the student role, and then you were like an apprentice, like for a leather company. Well, like Nevis. I don't know if that was apprentice role technically, but you
I was
put
working
yourself.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you put yourself in like apprenticeship roles directly, where there was someone teaching you skills like that. You've been in multiple scenarios like that, and like usually people have maybe one of those ever.
I have too many.
Yeah, like
way too many. I didn't even mean.
but it's like
for
also it's like I feel like you're worthy of it cuz like you're a good learner and you like have respect and like admiration and for like the details of like different people's crafts.
Yeah. I think like I feel like inspired by so many people though all the time though. I feel like I'm just like, well, if they can do that, like I can do something, like not be better, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I see them doing it. I'm like, okay, I could do that too. Like, and like where things that interest me, I guess. Like I'm like, yeah, like I could be at that level or something. Like I could do that. Like I wonder what happens. And I just try. Like,
Yeah.
really hard. And I don't like giving up. But it's kind of like prideful of me to like not give up. But kind of like I don't know, just the sense of I don't want the sense of failure to be the fear of failure to be the reason why I don't try anything. Like that's not a good enough reason. It's just kind of like I'm like, yeah, like of course everyone feels that to a degree, and like, but it's not true, ever actually. So
Yeah. But like how did you even expose yourself to the opportunities to like I don't know, learn something or try something with someone to where you could fail?
dude,
Like,
all those opportunities, like I literally tell everyone all the time, like, that I can, that, like, that was totally outside of my control. Like, I don't feel like that I quite did anything other than try to, like, respect people, to, like, to meet people that I feel like have been insanely inspiring and encouraging, and, like, to almost, like, take me under their wing, like, in so many ways, like, when it comes to, like, church and, like, theology, when it comes to, like, making art and whatever, like, any visual art or anything, and, like, people that I've just asked, hey, how do you do that? Like, do you know how to do it? Are you willing to share? And they say it, and they tell me in depth, and, like, I don't know, like Preston, who friend of Sean's, played in Hex, and Heaven's Gate, was like,
Yeah.
he was an art teacher, and, like, he showed me the copier stuff. Like, he's
Both
the
are
one
great local bands from Oklahoma. Sorry.
Yes. I don't know. Like, I
He
feel
showed
like
you
all
like
those,
using like a copier from the 90s
yeah.
to do like the
Oh, yeah, I was
distorted
gonna ask who showed you that.
copy
That's
print
cool.
art. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that my whole time being interested in music. You see a lot because it's just punk, and it's also just like '90s. It was the easiest way to make your album artwork. You cut out, you, like, print it off the internet and then just cut it out and glue it to a piece of paper. Like, that's the Mayhem demo cover. You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah.
old death metal stuff. It's old punk stuff. It's all of it, because nobody had, like, as much access to, like, Photoshop or anything, any kind of design tool. So just do it yourself. You don't have to worry about anyone. But, like, that, yeah, that was the coolest thing to me. I couldn't find out what it is. I was like, how do they get this look? How do they make it look like that? And he's the one that let me come use his copier one time, and he showed me. He's like, yeah, if you shrink it down and blow it back up, like, it changes its texture and still is a high resolution. And I'm like, what? And then he gave me a book. It was something Comet Bus, I think is his last name. And he's just a guy that just put this book together. It's just like art and comics and poetry, and I don't even know, like 200-something pages of just, like, yeah, I feel dumb that I don't remember his name, but it was super inspiring. And I already knew what it looked like, but I couldn't figure out how exactly it was done. And, like, now I feel like I'm just now, like, breaking through with the potential of using a copier. And you trying to use that with Photoshop and, like, going back and forth and just studying, like, DIY ethics. Like, I want to be good at all of it. Not to, like, be the best or anything. I just, like, try to, like, make something I like.
Mm-hmm. In your line of art, is there like using photocopiers to add texture and layer to it? Is there like a photocopier that's like, this is the one you want to use, or
Dude.
is there like a other side of that coin where it's like, nah, you don't want this model photocopier, that's ass?
Well, as far as I know, because, like, no one actually told me, and Preston didn't know either, but, like, older copiers are better because I don't even know, like, what old is. Like, maybe just in the 2010 and older.
Like
something?
Office Space, like the
Yeah.
big, just like copier that's like the size of a dishwasher.
Xerox was the main company, so, like, people used to, like, it was like people referred to it, I feel like, more as, like, doing Xerox art,
Yeah.
because Xerox was the biggest company at that time, but now there's, like, lots of others, and I don't remember. Mine is a Sharp printer, and it's just like a tower, you know, and they all look different, though. That's what's cool, is, like,
Yeah.
every brand has a slightly different, like, look it'll give, just barely, but, like, you can distort things without losing its, like, resolution. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
so it's like
When you
you
shrink
get
it-
distortion, some kind of a natural distortion without losing like the clarity or the sharpness of the lines.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's such a specific like dark art, like like 90s or 2000s photocopy, like distortion without losing sharpness. Like, but
Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, but it's like amazing. Like this is what, and this is like goes back to like all the different eras of art, like the Victorian swirly like picture frame, like we were talking about, like linings or whatever, like these super specific, just like almost extra unnecessary dimensions that people would add, but they would like define an era or like just a particular niche. And it's just cool that there's always people willing to like dig into that. And I don't know, it's interesting.
Dude, yeah, I feel like it started as just like a revolt against like, I don't know, paying
And everything
anyone.
being like squeaky clean.
Yeah, and like paying someone to do it, like so people just you do it yourself, and like but within that people got really good at it, and, like did some crazy stuff. Like I purchased a book that has like it's a compilation of like old 90s like somebody's collection where they just like high resolution scanned all the J cards that were made, and it's just like
From
it's
old
it's
what?
just old punk or old black metal specifically, but like
Okay.
just from 90s
like photocopy
89
logos
to-
and album art.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
big it's like it literally looks like a photo album, like
Yeah.
a family photo album of just like logos and yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Art.
I don't I don't fully support everything that is in there, but what's crazy is like it's a really really thoughtful like great piece of
Art documentation.
yes, and a
Essentially.
collection.
Yeah.
Like, just
Mhm.
and a really cool way to look at it and see it all in one spot,
Mm-hmm.
like and it's super inspiring because like I said, just people got really really good at it. And people use it now too. It's never died. It's never gone away. People might not have used it as much, but it's easy. Like
Mhm.
anyone can do it. That's why so many people do it and continue to do it.
Mm.
Because all you have to do is cut something out and change the contrast or blow it up and shrink it, and you can do anything forever.
Mm.
Like you can manipulate one image in so many different ways, and it kind of just becomes so many different things out of
Yeah,
it.
and you can like I've seen you've done ones where you like warp it, you like move it
Yeah.
during the process or whatever.
Some people are so good at that. Like they like got it down perfect. It's to like warp things intentionally instead of just being like, oh, make it squiggly.
Mm.
Like some people are like good at it. It's crazy. But yeah, like I think to go back to the topic, I think that all the people that I've met, like I just feel like I've been truly like blessed or extremely privileged beyond my control to have met people that were like always just willing to teach me stuff, like Josh, like Chris, like Sean,
Mhm.
like Preston, like all of like friends that know of at least. Like, yeah, man, I don't know. Like I was only good close friends with Wade Chappell's Combs and Noah Munsell. Shout out Noah Munsell. He is one of the best and most genuine, kindest creators in OKC right now. And he's making good stuff. He can literally do anything. And yeah, he's also really inspiring too. There's only him and Wade were the only people I was friends with in high school, and like super close with. And they're both creatives. Like Wade was more of just like a rapper actually by high school time instead of a half demon. He kind of became more of a rapper.
Half
and
rapper, half demon.
Yeah, half rapper, half demon. Also, he would go with me and like skate. Like he didn't skate, but he would go with me and just like watch me and Noah skate. And, like I don't know, just like I was always around the creative people, like, and they inspired me.
Yeah.
I didn't try. I don't know. I don't feel like I tried. I mean, we just connected.
No, that's cool. I mean, like me, like I'm almost asking about this selfishly because I'm like entering a whole new field and learning new skills where I don't know anyone else who does them, and gaining specific interests where I don't know anyone else that has them, and so it's kind of like we were talking about earlier. It's hard to do something alone.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm just thinking like, how do I put out the energy? How do I put out just that the authenticity to say that like, hey, I'm here. I'm curious about this. Like, I want to meet people. I want to open myself up to opportunities, but also willing to add value, willing to contribute, willing to be intentional. And I don't know. I just feel like that's the energy that you've consistently put out. Like, you're a student. You're interested. You're always like admiring people and like you're clear and you tell people that you look up to them and you like their art or whatever. And it's just like, I don't know, it's simple, but it's just, you know, has me thinking like, yeah, I want to put out that energy and like open myself up to being a student. But I mean, surrounding yourself with creative people is obviously like that's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, I know one thing that like I don't really have any like shame, I guess, like I would, or like fear about just being like, hey, you stranger that I don't know you, like, hi, I'm this person, I'm interested in what you're doing, like, would you be willing to share? I don't know, like I've always been that way kind of, and like everywhere.
Yeah, just like willing to shoot your shot.
Yeah, I'm just like, hey, I mean, I don't know, and I think I've made connections like by being that way. Just not, I'm not like, oh, I'm not worthy of talking to them, or like, oh, I'm scared about saying something weird. Like, I'm always awkward. I feel like I like stumble over my words a lot too, more than I'd like. Like, I know that that's a fact, and I'm not gonna let that be the reason why I'm like not trying to just ask somebody, how do you do what you do, or
Yeah.
hey, can I talk to you? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I think overall, that's why I also want to return that favor, because I feel like I've been very privileged or something. Like, and I know a lot of people around me, maybe most of my friends, I feel like haven't quite had as much of that connection, or maybe just talking to the right people to get inspired, or those people even being investing as intentionally as you are investing in them. That too.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people try, and yeah, sometimes people don't respond or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That happens a lot too, I think.
Yeah, you know, it kind of makes me think of like, have you ever like having someone younger at a show like ask you like, or tell you how they want to be in a band and they're trying to find someone to be in a band, or like how do you get to being in a band? It's kind of like a question that's impossible to answer, or it's like you have to be in the right place. You have to like just like talk to people.
You just have to.
It's kind of just like what you're describing. Like clearly you have to shoot shots, but it's also like you show up with the right energy, and the opportunities are gonna come or they're not. Almost, because you can't. I don't know. Like you can't just find a group of people to make music with.
Yeah.
Just like you can't force that, and it's so. Just like you can't find. You can't find a mentor. I mean, yeah, maybe you can. Just like maybe you can put together a boy band or whatever. But it's like, for most people, it's just gonna be something spontaneous and something like weird.
Yeah.
That comes together.
The same way, like I was just jamming with Josh, and Josh was in Sabretooth before I was around, but me and Josh were just jamming like the
Power
the
violence-y
Chariot
stuff?
and Power Violence
Yeah.
stuff. Like just trying to like play aggressive music, and like that merged into the Tooth,
Yeah.
or at Sabretooth whenever I started to join,
And then I
You
only
joined.
joined for just simply by being interested, seeing music. Like I saw Sabretooth before I was in it, and I was like, this is the exact energy that I'm into, like the exact type of stuff I'm into, and I just it's
Which
not
at the
even
time,
like an
I
intention.
don't know why you'd be into it, but
No, exactly. Like, but it just goes back to like desire. I was just like, I had the desire. I wanted to be around that music, be around the people that were making that music. And just by doing that, I put myself close to you all. And then I put myself in the position to where when you needed a bassist, like I was in that position. So I was able to take advantage of that opportunity. And it's just stuff like that you can't plan. And it was a similar story of how I got into my first band.
yeah,
It went like I was the person that was like, people would let me hang out with them. but like I was like the least favorite at every like friend group. So I was not I was not one of the top choices when people were going to form a band. like all the cool kids were talking and playing amongst themselves, how they would do that. Like I wasn't in that picture, but like I just forced myself in because I was interested. I wanted to be around it anyway, and because I was around it and I was just like, I was right there when an opportunity happened. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I jumped into it and like.
You learned how to play bass to play in Sabretooth.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you didn't even know how to play bass.
Yeah.
And the reason why we even picked Gus to play in the band is because, I guess as the kids would say nowadays, you matched the vibe.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, that was the only like, we're not like, yeah, we liked Gus.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't anyone else that could, or, yeah. At the moment.
Mm-hmm. I think we also equally we were in the same boat. We didn't know how to, or at least I didn't know how to ask people, hey, do you want to play in a band?
Yeah.
Like it goes both ways sometimes. There's sometimes the kid that's looking for the band, and then there's
Yeah.
also the band that's looking for the player, but they don't want to ask like a shit ton of people. It can go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all goes to just shooting your shot, like first of all, being authentic, but then being honest with
Mhm.
like, just like asking you shall receive. And that's like, I feel like asking shall receive is basically shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you want it, this is what you want. Okay, you gotta go ask, you gotta go try.
Something Vincent always tells me is, what's the worst that they're going to say? No. Unless you're asking a girl out on a date, then the worst thing they can say is you. So,
Dude, that literally happened to me one time. Well, I wasn't asking a girl on a date. I just told her that I liked her.
dude, something similar happened to me as well. And
That's awesome.
Have I told y'all that story that I got called the Grinch one time? Or that I looked like the Grinch?
Wait, like the Grinch when he's a little kid?
I don't even know. I didn't even ask.
You do a really
yeah.
good Grinch impression.
I
Jim
asked a
Carrey's
girl,
Grinch.
the first girl I ever asked out, she told me I looked like the Grinch. And I didn't really know how to take that because I was like, well, I'm not green and I'm not hairy. But I think
But
she
you
was
are
just trying.
funny.
I think she was just trying to say I'm ugly. That was her ew. That was her way of saying ew. Which I respect that. I just walked away.
Yeah, you're like, well, you shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, if it was an axe that I was throwing, it would bounce off the fucking wood and come right back in my head. Sorry, I flinched at another
Yeah.
fly.
But see, if it was a shuriken you were throwing, then you'd be
Into my
you'd
wall.
be Chapels.
Hey, what we say? Whatever Wade Chappell's, whatever he's doing out there, man. I hope he's doing it.
That would be
I hope
sick
you're
if
keeping it real,
Yeah.
Chapels.
that'd be sick if the only listener of this podcast this whole time, the only numbers we were getting was him somehow.
Just like spamming it.
Yeah, like he was just like, I really love this local podcast, and then suddenly you're on it, and he's like, oh, it's fucking Vinny.
Dude,
In a
yeah.
perfect world, that's how this would go.
Yeah.
Man, you guys met him at a show once. Do you remember?
I'm
He-
pretty sure I
he has
remember.
blonde hair?
Yeah, yeah.
I feel bad now.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm just
It
making
was a long
jokes,
time
man.
ago,
Just
but-
making jokes.
Yeah. No,
But-
it's all good. I mean, I don't know if he wanted me to say all that, but I did. So sorry.
No, that's okay. No one listens anyway.
Yeah.
But hey, shouts out to our listeners. Thank you for listening. We see you all. Shoot us a message.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you disagree with. And subscribe, please.
Please, for the love of God.
Please.
Vincent, do you have any final thoughts or anything you want to say or anything you want to talk about before we wrap it up?